Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. All the stories told on this show are either fabricated, alleged, or didn't happen at all and shouldn't be used in the court of law. We hope. All right, welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, Corey David, and we have a special guest with us here today. I'm very excited to have my buddy Chris Allen in Denver, baby.
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm here. I got the double special.
Yeah, special.
Special.
Not everybody gets that.
Can you do me a favor real quick?
What's up?
Can you check the score of that soccer game we were watching?
Yeah, we were just watching the World Cup down at the British Bulldog.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff.
It was.
I mean, you got over one of your fears today.
I did.
Right?
I did. I went to a crowded spot that I typically wouldn't have gone to and watched the match.
Yeah, well, you want to get out of your comfort zone so you can encourage your son to do so also.
Right.
I feel like you've really been living this year.
I'm trying, man. I got a lot of shit going on. Yeah? Can you curse on this one? Or?
Of course.
All right.
Have you fucking met me? Yeah.
I know, but I didn't want to. Who won?
It's at penalty kicks right now.
Oh, damn.
You were the one that wanted to leave the bar.
I know. I thought it would have been over by now.
No. It's still going.
Damn.
But so you haven't been back to Denver in a minute, right? Like it's been since 2006, you said?
About 2006, yeah. I lived here. Actually, it might have been 2007. I lived in Colorado Springs for about a year, and then we came here, but I can't remember why. I cannot. Oh, you know what?
It's a stereotypical weed answer.
No, I remember. Well, to be honest, I've never come into Denver. We came up to Aurora because my brother-in-law used to live there.
Oh, okay.
So I've never been here before.
Yeah. All right. Well, first time.
First time.
Yeah, and you're at the Denver Comedy Lounge this weekend.
Yes.
This episode won't be out by the time people can go to your show tonight, but I'll be curious to see what your experience is, man, because so we started working together. What was it, 5 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, somewhere right around there. And that was my first club weekend ever, working with you and Mark.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Your very first club. So when you tell people, because Mark has blown up significantly since then. Like, when you tell people that, what do they say? I
mean, they think it's cool just because he's got so many fans, right? Mm-hmm. I think people are they don't really think much of it in the sense of... because you know how when people say like they opened for somebody, it's like I wasn't really opening for Mark. You know, it's just like I happened to be the host that weekend.
You were hosting that weekend.
Yeah, I was just happened to be hosting.
But still,
it's cool. Like I think people just say it's cool.
That is cool.
The cooler thing was when we got to work together down in Houston because that was really awesome. Because it was like me, him, Andrew Youngblood. Houston Improv was fucking awesome. All the shows were rad. But you get to work with Mark like a lot. And one of the things that I noticed just being there was not only were the shows sold out because he got a ton of fans, but they're his fans.
His fans.
You know, it's like that entire everybody that was there that entire weekend was there for him
to see him.
And what made that really cool was that it felt like I could just do whatever I want, you know, because they're comedy fans.
Right.
Like they're there for the show.
Right. Yeah. It's not mainly date night or free ticket night. It was like, no, these are comedy fans. These are Norman fans. They like jokes. They like it all. You know what I mean? So like you said, you can just have a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. You can try weird shit. You can do sentimental stuff. It's just like his crowd just appreciates comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all forms.
And I think part of that is, we're just from working in the business for so long that sometimes it's a job, right? And people that you wind up showing up to a crowd where, man, you all just collectively decided to not have fun tonight. And then you got to really like do some cartwheels on stage to figure out how to make this work.
I know.
That experience wasn't like that, right?
Right.
So, I mean, where would you say, would you say that's most of the time that you guys are working together? Or is that obviously there's going to be hit or miss shit?
No, at this point now, they're all his fans, but because I was with him when he first started like doing the bigger clubs. Mm-hmm. And it was that in the beginning where Thursday night, it's 50% full, half full, and there might be 10 people there to actually see him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we were doing those slog nights of like, man, they didn't like the abortion stuff. They didn't like this.
Not our town.
Yeah, but it was just funny because like I would notice we would notice like it kind of started off like, okay, the bulk of his fans would come to one show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like Friday night, the early show, there were 85 Tuesdays there, you know, so, and it just over the time, just watching that number build and build and build. But yeah, I've done those weekends with him in New York, or either Albany or Syracuse, where we get back to the hotel and he's just like, what am I doing?
Yeah, especially
he's just
Syracuse.
like, I just want to sell out just one time.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that it's paper, but now, I mean, the guy is killing it, which is dope.
Well, I mean, how do you feel like your career has grown, like, in the past few years? You know, what have you been up to?
Oh, me?
What are the projects that you've been working on? Yeah.
I feel like it's grown quite a bit, but it's just like trying to headline. It's like it's almost starting all over again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You got to win over bookers, and you're trying to do a lot of stuff on your own. But right now, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to headline more. I've been writing more. I'm posting more content. I'm making videos. All the stuff I said I didn't want to do, I'm realizing like, hey, you have to do that shit, man. Because and it makes sense. When you step back and think about like the traditional route of comedy, how insane it is. Mm-hmm. Is to go into a town and, like we were just saying, when you're new, nobody comes to see you. Yeah. So you're doing a show with 50 people, 60 people. But to come into a town, even during the comedy boom where it's like 300 people a show, so that entire weekend you might have performed for 1,200 people. Mm-hmm. But now with the internet, it's just like, if you put a funny video out there, millions of people have seen it, or thousands of people have seen it. So it just makes more sense to do it that way. But like when you start doing comedy and people tell you like, no, this is how you do it. You go to comedy clubs, you sit in the back of the room, you meet that headliner, you do it this way, and you kind of get that into your head, and you see all these new people coming on with their podcasts and just making videos, and within 5 years, it's like couple 100,000 followers, they're headlining. You're like, what the fuck about? But
yeah, well, you got to figure. I mean, what's changed? Maybe this was always the case, but I think it's more clear now. Is that you have to be a reason that people are coming, right? Like you can go anywhere in the country and do the job very well, right?
Yeah,
like if you're headlining anywhere, like you can do that job very well. But if it's a place you've never been before, chances are most of the people that are there aren't there for you. They just came out for comedy that night, and they're going to get a pleasant surprise. You know, that like the guy that was headlining is like, oh wow, he's great. Like we had an awesome time tonight.
Like tonight,
good.
Yeah, I'm people are rolling the dice. They don't know me. You know what I mean? They don't know.
It's gonna be.
They don't know.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like you got to figure out. All right, well, how do I get people in the seats that are there for me? Especially now that there's more comedy clubs that are booking full weekends with people that are just internet personalities, or somebody that has a really successful podcast or whatever. They can sell the place out. So like, what do you do? Like, so that's
no, you're completely correct on that,
you're
man.
Like, yeah, but I'm a really good stand-up. You're like, great,
cool. It's a lot of motherfuckers that can hoop. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can really play ball, but I mean, who's seen you? Mm-hmm. You know, what's your resume? And yeah, it's just like, where have you been playing ball? You know what
exactly.
I mean? Yeah, people gotta have to see it, but like, I can't even get mad at it.
Right.
I can't even get mad at it. It's just like Roy Wood Jr. said it so well some years back, where he goes, because they were asking him about this when the internet sensation started to really come into clubs and stuff. And he goes, look, I can't get mad that he's like, I picture it like a grocery store. He goes, I'm already in line. I'm like, next. And then he goes, all they did was open up another lane. He goes, I can't get mad because they open up another lane and those people get to go through quicker. He goes, I was already here. Yeah. And he's just like, all I can do is focus on what I'm doing. But next time, make sure, just incorporate what they're doing into mine.
Well, especially because all of the other things are in your control.
Right.
Like all of those, as opposed to the old way, which was everything about your livelihood is in somebody else's hands.
Right.
Like whether it's getting that late night spot or getting passed at a club or anything like that was always somebody else's decision.
Right.
But now, like you can still do those things, but there's multiple avenues now where you can get your own following and get new fans without anybody telling you no. Doesn't take much to post a video on YouTube or put out a podcast.
You're right. Yep. And honestly, with that, people really have no one to blame but themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's just like people complain about gatekeepers. People complain about all these people with podcasts. But it's just like, well, that person actually spent the time. They invested in themselves. The podcast blew up. They're getting booked.
Yeah.
So how can you get mad at, you know what I
all
mean?
that stuff is a lot of work. Like, unless you're hiring somebody to do that shit for you, like, you doing this podcast, editing it, making clips, making stand-up clips, making original content.
Yeah,
like, it's all a lot of shit.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it can be demoralizing because setting up the camera, doing the takes, editing, and then you put it up, 400 views.
I mean, this one's probably going to get 5. So
yeah, it'll probably get 7 or 8.
Maybe we'll hit double.
It'll get double digits.
No, I'm kidding, bro. Well, yeah, man. I'm excited that you're here, just because it's been
too,
years
man.
since we've seen each other, and I'll always look back at that weekend like incredibly fondly. And I know we've done a pretty good job of staying in touch like ever since then.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for you to be here this weekend.
Me too, man.
I think you're gonna have a fucking great time at Lounge.
I heard it was great. Yeah, dude, it's great seeing what you're doing too, man. Because you know, it's funny. That was your first weekend. That was 5 years ago. But in my mind, it's just like, that's Corey, the young comic guy. But then I see you headlining and doing stuff. I'm like, oh shit, damn! Like, hell, you're fucking really doing it. Yeah.
Trying to do some shit, bro. All right, well, let's get into some dumb crime.
Let's get into some crimes.
So, first question right off the bat is, like, how would you say, like, who were you as a kid? Like, growing up, like, were you getting in trouble a lot? Did you ever run into the law? Were you very well behaved?
I was not. I used to talk back to teachers and stuff like that. I was not well. I was. Oh man, that's a great question. I wasn't a bad kid. I had a smart mouth.
Yeah, I was the same.
But for the most part, I did what my parents told me to do. I was raised on fear.
Now, are you from a military family, or were you the first one in the military?
No. My in my house, yes, but I come from a long line of military service. I'm from my dad's side.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely not the first. But in my home, I'm the only one.
All right. Now, because how many years were you in the military? 20? 20 fucking years, dude. Well, thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I don't know. I feel like it's what you're supposed to say. I come from a military family, so I feel like I respect the hell out of it, you know? It's I know people put in a lot of time and a lot of their life, you know, into making that happen, so...
Yeah, and it's something I'd never really even thought about doing. Mm-hmm. You know what's funny, man? I was just thinking about that this morning on the plane. Because, I mean, I'm realizing how much of a scatterbrain, how much ADHD I have. But, like, the military really kept that in check. And, like, now pursuing this, seeing how much free time I have and how I get distracted, I'm glad that 18-year-old me realized, like, I didn't want to go to college. And I knew I could not stay at home. I was like, you got to do something, Chris. You don't want to go to school. You don't want to go to college. You don't want to go to college. You have to leave. Mm-hmm. And I signed up, and I have to thank my young self for having the wherewithal to go, hey man, you just can't sit here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Especially if you do have like such a scatterbrained ADHD mind, it seems like the military might be the kind of place where you can, because you have regiment, you've got things you have to do, you have to stay on a schedule, as opposed to the luxury of free time. Where you can, like, I can't focus on anything. I'm not going to get anything done.
Right. And I've noticed that in the last few years. I'm like, man, if there's no telling, honestly, there's no telling where I would be if it wasn't for that. But also, I guess if I wanted to go to college, my mind frame would have been different.
Might have been different. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad that it worked out the way it did.
Yeah. When you were in the military, like, was there ever anything that you did that you, like, got in trouble for or anything like that?
Man, again, I'm a pussy, man.
Yeah, that's okay.
I would say the one thing
I gotta ask the question.
Yeah, the one thing I again, my mouth got me in trouble. It was more mouth than any.
Do you remember a specific instance?
Quite a few.
But I mean, is it typically like, what's the punishment like for something like that?
Honestly, for the stuff I did, nothing really.
Okay.
Actually, no, I got a LO. I take that back. I got a LOR for not reporting somewhere.
What's an LOR?
A letter of reprimand.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it an actual letter?
Yeah.
you get a handwritten.
They type it up.
Letter?
Oh, dude, it's scary the way they do it.
Yeah.
Because it's very formal. They make you get in your dress blues, and like it's really a tool to scare like really young airmen, and it works for the most part. Like, you got to get in your blues, and like your captain will read it to you, and they make it seem like you're being charged with all this serious shit, and you see him jaded, and I'm standing there, I'm fucking shaking and shit. But it was I didn't want to go to honor guard. Honor guard is, you know what honor guard is?
A little.
It's the people who they do flag folding ceremonies and all kind of shit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go.
So you were just like, I'm skipping this.
They were like, Jones, you're going to,
That seems
honor
like the
guard.
most boring job anyway.
And I was just like, I'm not going.
I didn't come here to fold laundry.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And I didn't go.
Not much of a bugle player?
No. I didn't go. And I got in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out of all the worst things that people could possibly do, it seems like you got off okay.
Very innocuous shit. Like, what else did I do? So I don't know if they still do it because people get pissed off. But whenever you will make rank, whenever you will put it on, people who are equal rank or higher get to like tack it on.
Yeah.
So they punch you in the arm. And this one kid, he was like a two-striper, and we had like a shop of like 40, 50 people. So he went through a gauntlet of just getting pummeled. And
He just was ready to take it out.
like literally, like we would stand in the main drag of our office, and one person would stand on each side, and you would just walk up and then boom, get punched. Walk up to the next set, bam, walk up to the next set, boom.
And this was just standard practice.
Yeah,
Just getting decked.
just getting hit in the getting hit in the shoulder, and and our captain came out, and this is when they started just like put a hold on the hazing stuff. Mm-hmm. He goes, "Hey man, you can't just be beating people like this. You got to stop." And I'm like, "Damn, y'all beat my people for 400 years." And everybody just starts laughing, and he was just like, "Go to my office."
You're like, wait a minute. Now that it's my time to fucking go ahead, you guys take this away.
Yeah, he was just like,
I would say the same thing. I'd be like, listen, everybody else, why do I got to be the last person where this stops?
Yeah.
You know,
it's so funny.
Give me my opportunity to fucking beat down on some white dudes.
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
without fear of consequence.
Right. I earned this shit. I got beat all the way up until I was a tech sergeant. Like, why can't I punch somebody?
Maybe more so.
Yeah.
Does that mean, were you? How many other black dudes did you have like in your regiment?
It just depends. Like when I first got to my unit in Ohio, I think there were like 3 or 4 other black dudes in my office. And then people ship out and come in.
It's still the minority for the most part. Was it still the minority for the most part?
Oh, definitely, yeah. When I was a radar tech, it was only like me and my supervisor, this dude named Jamal. For the most part, most of the jobs I had in the military wasn't a lot of black people.
Not a lot of diversity.
Nah, not in the jobs I had.
Yeah.
We were like a lot of black people in the hospital, supply, CE squadron, which is funny. Like, so whenever I met people, they would go, "Oh, are you a supply?" I would go, "No, I'm not supply." I'm
just making assumptions.
Yeah, I'm a radar tech. Oh, okay. Or I'm intel. So even within the military, there's stereotypically black jobs.
Imagine, yeah. I mean, there's got to be this, there's inherent racism and everything,
Yeah.
right? Especially within government systems.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't imagine that would be any different.
Yeah, and typically, historically, those jobs have like a lower ASVAB score, but that doesn't mean that every person in that job is not smart. Mm-hmm. It's just, and then I want to get into a history lesson, but typically they would give us the CE jobs, like the janitorial jobs or construction or supply stuff, nothing really cool. Mm-hmm. So, or working in the kitchen and stuff like that. So honestly, it's the kind of a thing that kind of just continued.
Yeah.
You know,
systemic, right?
Yeah,
it just like stays in.
Kind of became a thing.
Opportunities.
Right. So.
Well, that doesn't sound familiar at all.
Not at all. But for the most part, I had a great time.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
There were some weird things that went on, though, and I'm like, what the fuck? But
yeah.
But no crimes.
Okay, no crimes. All right, well, this was definitely a crime. So, family's Monopoly game ends in a shooting, police say. Any first impressions?
Could be justified.
Could be justified, because that's the way board games work.
Justifiable. What did they say? What happened?
Yeah. We'll get into that. But I mean, are you a board game household?
I mean, yes. We grew up playing board games. I'll say this before I judge this person. Uh-huh. I can almost guarantee you, as a kid, if there was a gun on the table during a Monopoly game, I believe somebody would have got shot at some point in time.
At some point, for sure.
Yeah.
I'd never known that was a piece that you could use in the game. I'm usually a race car.
Bam! 9 mil.
Somebody sets their knife down on the table. I'm playing with this. But it takes up 4 spaces at once. I brought the knife.
You're always collecting 200.
Use whatever tool you brought as a means to get money out of
I just pass go, right? Yeah.
I think that it's funny that it's Monopoly specifically because it's the only one that inherently has to do with like taking money from other people.
Oh yeah, that shit gets for real, man.
It's the city life. Like it's like the real kind of like come up kind of life.
And if this doesn't happen on Baltic, about Baltic or something on that side of the board, I'm gonna be pissed.
So I'm saying, it's just like, you should have been going past Baltic Avenue past midnight. You're like,
right.
This was on you.
Right. You bought Baltic past midnight. Of course you're gonna get shot.
Just because it was an up and coming neighborhood doesn't mean it was safe. All right. So Tulsa police were told that a family was playing Monopoly and drinking alcohol on Saturday when John Armstrong and his stepfather got into an argument. The pair knocked over the board game and furniture before a family member told them to take the fight outside. Armstrong suffered a cut to his head before he pulled out a pistol and chased after his stepfather and stepsister down the street while pointing the gun at them.
Damn. I want more info on the game.
Who was winning at the time?
What do you think happened?
I think that it was somebody talking shit about their ass getting kicked in the game. That's my first instinct. So if it's a stepfather, there's already some inherent kind of bullshit that's going on there.
Right,
anyway.
Yep.
It's like, how can you provide for my daughter? You can't even collect money in this game.
I'm pretty sure you're right. Somebody was collecting hotel money.
Yeah.
You can't collect hotel money without talking shit.
And also I'm sure he had to be paid. He just probably kept paying his stepfather. Like, you want to stay at this hotel? It's going to cost you twice as much.
Yeah. You can't make people pay you without talking shit, man. There's no way to humbly accept money from people in Monopoly.
Yeah, I've never had a landlord like that. Every time the rent's due, he's just like, "Hey, pay up, you pale son of a bitch."
You piece of shit.
You scrawny, no good comic
motherfucker. I'm definitely gonna do it in Monopoly.
Yeah, of all the games, this seems like it would be.
If you owe me $2,000.
Yeah, the other part of this was like to me, the cops immediately had to go play a game of Clue. Like as soon as they fucking.
That's hilarious. Who did it? That's hilarious. That's good.
It's Colonel Mustard with a gun in the kitchen.
Or a Monopoly game. That's one game I was never good at. I hated Clue. I hated Clue.
Out of all the games, I think Monopoly is like my least favorite because that game will go on for like 3 hours, and I'm done. I think max on a game for me is an hour, and it means we can play that game again. Let's start it over. Right. But I got about an hour in me before I need a change.
I haven't played Monopoly in a long time
because it's a trash game.
You think it's trash?
It's trash.
I think it's great.
It's not a fun game.
I think it's fun.
I'd rather go Clue than Monopoly.
No, I would rather go Life.
You're going Life?
Life.
Why?
The car, you get to put the kids in there. I don't know. Honestly, I also like the spin thing.
Yeah, it's really just that tactile, like you get to touch it, spin it. Yeah, I thought it was that registers that get that dopamine hit.
Candyland was fun too as a kid.
Candyland's good. These days, do you guys play any traditional? Do you play like traditional board games now, or is it cards, or what do you guys play?
We play. Would you consider Scrabble a traditional?
Yeah.
We do a little bit of Scrabble. Uno, that's not a board game. Sorry, not a board game.
But I was still like card games, board games.
Uno, a little bit of
whatever.
Uno.
Yeah.
Connect Four.
Yeah. Uno's always fun, especially when I think it's more fun when you make your own rules for the game. Like, so you use the rules that come with the game, but every time somebody puts down a reverse, you got to say Mr. Peanut Butter or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
just for fun. And then if you don't, you got to draw a card.
Yeah, everybody. That's what's fun about those games. Everybody always had like their little spin.
Yeah, got house rules.
Yeah, I like the house rules. Well, did you have any weird house rules for Monopoly?
No, my family's pretty plain Jane. We grew up Mormon, so we played everything by the book.
No, Jimmy, yeah.
We played everything by the Book of Mormon, if you know what I mean. I was back home for a visit of my family over the summer, and we've been playing cards for like an hour, and I had to be the one that was like, can we just put on some music? Can we?
Oh, really?
It's just deafening silence.
Jesus.
While everybody's just playing card games.
Wow.
It's not always the most fun.
That sounds like my family, to be honest.
Yeah. It's just quiet.
Just quiet.
People are kind of talking, but not really.
Yeah, it's just like it ebbs and flows. It's like there's conversation, then it kind of stops, and then something happens, conversation stop. Yeah, we used to do all the fines and stuff. That would go underneath the free parking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we would do that. And then
somebody cashes out.
Yeah, that was the best, man.
And that's when you can really talk shit about your stepson.
Yeah. That was the best, man. You're like, oh my God, I got $2,500. It was so great.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any resolution to this. Like, who actually won the game, or if this family's okay?
I think the guy with the gun won.
But he fired one round.
Oh, he did?
So, yeah.
Jesus.
He said he shot it at the ground. So just a scare tactic more than anything. Yeah. because he wanted his stepfather and stepsister away from his mother. Oh, and I had this confused also. I was saying like I was thinking father-in-law. That's why I said like you're not going to be able to provide for my daughter. I just ran with it. But stepfather makes it even worse, I think.
There's still some tension between.
There's a lot of tension between the two, for sure. You're not my real dad.
You're not my real dad.
We can't afford to stay in this hotel, so you're not my real son either.
He probably said, well, son, you owe me this. And he was like, I ain't your son. And then it just went off the rails.
All right, next one. Man cooks stolen food at Pizza Hut while threatening employees with a knife.
This guy's a legend.
Yeah, right? I mean, he just decided, like, the buffet wasn't enough. I don't know how you're going to pay for that. And also the audacity to be like, I can cook this better than you guys.
Wow.
So just to go back into the kitchen and start whipping up his own stuffed crust.
What did they say what he made?
I don't know. There's no way they even accused. While in the kitchen, the accused retrieved food items from the freezer and began cooking them before lifting up his shirt and revealing a knife to him.
Was he already eating there and he didn't like it, or he just walked in?
He took the food and left. So he made the food and left. That's baller.
That's some baller shit.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not paying for any of this, and I don't want, because it would be different to me if he were just like, hey, I need you to make this pizza for me, and then when he's going to leave, he's like, oh, I ain't paying for this either. That's
wild that they let it. Because the thing is, how did he know where everything was?
I mean, I sounds like he had the luxury of time. I don't know if anybody was really coming after him.
Now, I wonder if this was still one of those old school dine-ins, or was this like one of the small carry-out, or...
I mean, it's a Pizza Hut. I think they're all still sit-ins, right?
Not all of them.
Oh, no?
Mm-mm. Some of them you can just, dude... A sit-in Pizza Hut was the shit as a kid.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite. The Pizza Hut lunch buffet when I was a kid is one of my and a personal pan pizza.
Ooh, yeah.
One of my favorite memories of childhood.
Yeah, man,
that shit was delicious.
You can't really beat the Pizza Hut lunchtime buffet. They still had it in Ohio when I was stationed there in this little town called Fairborn, and we would go every once in a while, and it was like, this is the shit.
Yeah, we used to take school off every 420 and go to get high and go to Pizza Hut lunch buffet.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was a fun tradition. And then I remember when I went to college, my mom called me one day, and she's just like, what are you doing? And it was on 420, and I was like, no, I'm at Pizza Hut lunch buffet. Why? And she's like, because my mom doesn't know anything about drugs, right? So
sure she does.
She was like,
she probably does the most drugs. You don't even know.
Yeah, you would think so, but I feel like I know her well enough at this point that we've had plenty of conversations. She used to drink, but she's never really touched like anything else.
Wow.
And she's like, well, isn't today like National Blunt Day? Like, you don't know shit,
That's
Mom.
cute.
It's adorable. But the thing I love about this guy is that he had enough audacity to not only do this, but was also kind of like, I'm a good chef. You know, I'm just down on my luck right now.
Right. The fact that he just went in and he actually, and they say no one wants to work anymore. This guy, instead of just terrorizing somebody and making them do it or stealing something, he went in and he demanded to work.
Yeah, he wanted a job, but he also just wanted to eat his pay.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if he was just like, no, I'm taking orders right now too. If anybody wants anything, it's all free.
That'd be funny
if he puts an apron on.
Yeah. What do you want? Hurry up! And he find out the store is never run better than when he was there.
Yeah, it was actually the most efficient it's ever been. A police canine and helicopter assistants were urged to search the area for the suspect. Like, come on, really? And also, what's the canine like trying to smell? Like, all right, you've been trained for pepperoni. Yeah. Like, let's.
What do you have on there? Okay. You gotta remake that pizza, let the dog smell it. Yeah. And then that's wild.
Recreate the crime scene.
Dude, you hear that? They brought out a helicopter. Mm-hmm. A helicopter.
I know the pizzas aren't worth that much.
No. They sent a helicopter to find a guy who stole a pizza that he made.
Mm-hmm. And also, it would be funny if this guy just like got to his buddy's place and he was like, "Hey, fellas, I brought over pizza," and then didn't even explain like how it all went down.
I got us a pizza.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, oh, hell yeah, Barry.
That's so they did catch him though.
He was arrested the next day. So he got to eat the pizza.
No evidence.
He got to eat it. David Malera in Manassas Park that's the thing. So if they didn't get him until the next day,
Manassas Park, Virginia.
I think so. Let's see. William County?
Damn.
Is that where that is?
I would assume so because I don't know. Manassas can be anywhere, but there is a Manassas in Northern Virginia, not too far from me.
Is this one of your friends? I should. Probably...
He actually looks like a comic that I know. He looks like my boy Angel Morla.
Oh fuck! Is that Angel?
It could be. That's Angel.
You remember eating a Pizza Hut pizza with him a couple weeks ago?
That might be Angel, man.
Just be the
Angel. I need to talk to you, buddy.
You're like, man, that guy is so nice. He brought pizza in for the whole staff.
He didn't know he made it at knife point.
This is just a comic that's struggling. He's just like, hey, I'm trying to make a good impression with the staff right now, and I can't. I'm a comic, so I don't get paid very much.
I don't get paid very much. Dude, why did they let him make this pizza?
What are they gonna do?
No one could call or text like, hey, man, this is...
Also, it doesn't say much about the police response time. This guy had a chance to cook an entire pizza before they showed up.
Honestly, if I'm working there and he just wanted to come in and make a pizza, he shows me a knife and he's really not gonna. I would say, you know what? This is pretty crazy. As long as you don't hurt me, you go. You have at it.
Just go.
Just go.
Just have it. I'm sick of dealing with these people that just complain all the time and don't ask really for what they want and just write a bad review about it later.
Right. He went in and got what he had to ask like, where's this? Where's that? So somebody had to help him.
I bet he had. It would have been, but even better if he wrote like a good review.
The staff was so nice.
Incredibly accommodating.
I mean, when you say the customer's always right, they really take it to the next level. They let me make my own pie.
Which is just like, maybe that was the case. Remember back in the day, there was pizza places that you could just, you go, you make your own pie.
Make your own pie. I know Kramer on the Seinfeld.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. Do they have a place out here like that? Because I know in Ohio, they had this place called Marco's where you go pick the pizza up from there, but you make it at home.
Oh, I never liked those. There's they have a place here called Papa Murphy's where you can buy the dough, basically, and then you still have to make it yourself. I think that's the dumbest fucking idea. I'll just pay an extra $5 and have that shit ready to eat.
Yeah, I don't get the appeal of that either.
No, it's stupid.
Like unless you just happen to really like Marco's Pizza, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Fine. But if I'm going to do that, I would rather just go, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to the grocery store and just make everything myself.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, just go get the ingredients. I think because you're already paying for, they're not cheap. It's not like they're $5 and then you get to go home and make it.
Right. It's like, exactly. It's not like they sell you the ingredients at cost and it's like, I paid $3 for this. I got the dough, the sauce, all the toppings. It was only $3 and I make, if I got it cooked, it would be $21. But yeah, you're not saving anything really.
No, it seems like a fucking waste.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for our dumb crimes of the week.
All right.
All right, man. Well,
pizza and video and games.
So we'll talk a little bit about, I always preface this part of the show with whatever story you would like to tell us. If it is something that you've done personally, all the stories on this show have been fabricated, might be alleged, so hopefully they can't be used in the court of law. I don't know that for a fact, but we can see where it goes. But I always like to tell people this is something that you've either been involved with, witnessed, or something just where the police were involved in general. And the point of the show is to just let people know that everybody's just witnessed or done dumb shit in their life, and I think it's way more fun if we can just talk about about it before. So what do you got for us?
Me and my boy Daryl used to work at Marshall's.
Yeah.
So you already know where this is going.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because I never when they did the training and stuff, we went in the back. They go, hey, there's cameras back here. Mm-hmm. But in the warehouse, it's not finished, so it's like the actual roof of the building.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around like, those cameras. For some reason, I was so dumb as a 16-year-old. I was like, man, those cameras can't see all the way down here.
For sure.
Just not knowing.
Too high up.
Yeah, they're too high up. They can't see that.
Nobody can see that.
It's 1995. They don't have that kind of technology.
I'm kind of shocked they do, to be honest.
Yeah. So, and they always warned us, hey, don't steal. They check your bags and all this kind of stuff. And I can't remember who got the idea. I go, you know what we should do? I go, all the stuff we want. I go, we'll just throw it on the ground in the back, and then when we go sweep up all the shit at night, we'll just sweep it all up, and then when we throw the trash out, we'll set it in a certain part of the dumpster, and go get it.
It's not the worst idea.
Yeah. So I mean, dude, it was like, you know, Nautica shirts, and next thing you know, we stealing fucking Nikes and sneakers
But it's all
and
the
shit.
stuff that's discounted anyway.
Yeah, it's all discounted shit.
This is going to nowhere to begin with, you know? I
Right.
mean, there's plenty of shit from Marshalls that like goes unbought. You know
Right.
what I mean? This stuff's going to go to a dumpster or someplace anyway.
It
Eventually.
is. It's eventually. So, and then we would put this up in the dumpster and then come back like late at night and get it.
So what was do you remember the nicest thing that you pulled? You said you got some Nikes and shit.
I had a pair of Jason Kids. I had a pair of
Ooh, yeah.
the kind
those
with
are dope.
I had the kind with the big weird looking alien eye on the side. I had some Nike Air Zooms. I had, like I said, some Nautica shit.
Yeah, so you got a pretty good haul out of this.
Yeah. And then
How long was this going on for?
maybe just like maybe a month or if that.
Okay, so this wasn't like a long.
Nah, it was a few times. Yeah. It was a few times, and I remember one night. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. We're in a dumpster behind a Marshalls.
How many of you are there?
Just me and my boy Daryl.
Okay.
And it's like I said, it's like 1 o'clock. We get in the dumpster, we close the little sliding door and shit. And dude, like we're in there for like 10, 15, and then somebody slides it open. It's like this older black man.
Like just takes a peek in.
He just
the raccoons back here.
Yeah, he just.
Fucking what?
Yeah, he just saw us in there. I don't remember any exchange.
Okay.
But I remember like, fuck.
Yeah. You're caught.
Yeah, well,
you
like,
got
this is
that impending doom feeling.
Yeah, like God, like why would somebody, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But also not thinking at the time, he could have been like a security guard who was just supposed to be doing a route or something like that.
Just doesn't actually give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I have to check. Yeah.
So and to be honest, we probably didn't. I don't remember where we parked or anything. So like, because I was like, how the fuck did he know we were in here? We probably parked a car right next to it, and then like, why is there?
Weren't safe about it. Weren't good about it.
Weren't smart about it.
Didn't even try. Like you didn't even try to cover this up.
So
just sweeping up clothes, just sweeping up whole shoes, just
whole outfits. You know,
it'd be funny if it was like as you were pulling it apart, it was perfectly laid out in how you would wear it, like on the.
It's the outfits are just laid out. It's a hat, shirt, pants, and shoes.
Well, I want to see how it looks together before we go ahead and take it.
We thought that was the best plan, man.
I mean, it wasn't that bad of a plan. You just got caught when you were looking in the dumpster.
Never, yeah. But the thing is,
you don't even know that they saw you sweeping it up.
Yeah,
you know.
But the thing, it's just like, man. I don't know.
I think you could have talked your way out of that one.
But the thing is, he didn't say anything.
Oh,
he just left.
Oh, so you didn't get like caught?
No.
Oh,
I didn't finish the story.
Oh, sorry.
So he was just like, what are y'all doing? Whatever happened, and we on our way, and we just kept working. And what happened was my boy Daryl, it was like a random like, hey, I need to check your bag, and he was like, oh, I forgot something in the back. And he was like, he ran in the back, and because he started to get cocky, he started putting shit in his bag.
No, that's where you get fucked.
So he went back there and he's like throwing all this shit out of his bag, and then he was like, "Oh, I had to find my whatever it was." Yeah, and he was like, he gave her the bag like kind of like cocky, like here you go, and opened it up. He forgot like a pair of Nike socks that were in there.
And he's gonna get like of all the things to get taken down for.
Yeah,
it's a pair of socks.
Yeah,
it wasn't even the good shit.
Yeah, so yeah, they call him in, loss prevention, and they like, look, we know you and Chris been stealing. We know the whole thing. He was like, they showed me the video.
Oh no, so they were already on it.
Damn. So I was like, well, I'm not going back.
So you weren't on shift that day.
No. So the Marshalls in Rochester, they owe me a check from 1996. So,
but it sounds like you made off with enough.
Yeah,
they covered the check.
And to be honest, they were like, he told them what we were doing. Like, hey, we stole some shirts and stuff, a couple pair of shoes. And they were like, were you selling anything? And that's one thing we did not do.
Yeah.
They go, no, we didn't sell anything. They go, all right.
Yeah.
You just fired. That's it.
Okay. Well, I mean, out of all the possible ways they could have gone, honestly, not that bad.
No.
Hey, you got some fresh swag on.
Yeah, we did.
Do you still have any of it?
No.
I was going to say, that'd be cool. See, you still had a couple heist items.
I wish. What's funny is like, we had to keep all of the shit at his house though, because I had a very, very involved dad.
Okay.
And my dad knew everything that I had because either he bought it or he took me to the mall to buy it.
Yeah. So if something new showed up, it was suspicious as fuck.
Yep. And you're talking about black dudes growing up in the inner city, 90s, people selling weed, selling drugs and stuff. And that's typically a sign of like your kids bringing shit. Like, hey, where the fuck you get this shit from?
Yeah.
So I always had to keep stuff at his house, and then I would just bring it over. I would carry it home, like, and they were like, "Where you get that?" Oh, I'm just borrowing. These are Daryl's. I'm borrowing them because I would borrow my boy Daryl's clothes all the time.
Yeah, sure.
So it was not a big deal. So that's how I got away with that. I would just
but for a little while you were swagged out.
Yeah, I was
Doing okay.
just stealing the Nike Air Zooms.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Something with a Jordan symbol, but it's like on the back of the shoulder.
yeah, it's all weird. Yeah, just irregular Nautica jeans where one pant leg is longer than the other.
Just normal stuff.
Yeah, this shit
it's
like
wound
that.
up at Marshall's to begin with.
Yeah, right, exactly. And the thing about Marshalls is like, you didn't even have to prove that you bought something there to bring it back. So we had like repeat customers or offenders, whatever you want to call them. These people would just walk in with trash bags full of, like, they would go to Goodwill, right, and just buy a bunch of stuff, $20 worth of stuff, but a bunch of stuff. And they would come to Marshall's, and we would have to go around and find something like it. And then they would go, hey, I want to return all this stuff.
That doesn't even seem like it would be able to work on the surface. Like you would be able to just see through that immediately.
But the thing is, we knew, but there was the way the policy was written, there was nothing we could do about
so they
it.
just got to take back. They had to take back any clothes.
They would go, we don't even sell this brand here. But it was a loophole in the so if they sold anything that was similar, they had to take it back.
Man, just because they were like, yeah, I guess we could have sold that.
And the thing is, most people don't do that shit. So that's why it wasn't like an epidemic. But you would know, like, somebody would walk in with like a trash bag full of shit, and you go, oh, they're doing this fucking fake return shit.
Yeah.
And and they would come in with all this stuff from the Goodwill, and next thing you know, they would walk out with like a $200 voucher from shit that they bought from the Goodwill.
I mean, I can't knock them for knowing the hustle.
No, it's a
pain in the ass for you, but otherwise, I mean, I commend them on being so savvy.
I know you said a half hour. I'll tell you this one thing. It was pretty funny. So when I worked there, we had like an office meeting or something like that, and they were like asking employees like how can we tighten up security? Is there anything that people can do to like steal? And this woman that worked in layaway, dude, she went in on this very long, elaborate scheme of stealing shit from layaway. And she tells the story, and they go, so did that happen? She was like, no, it's just something that and it just got so quiet.
So wait, it had never happened before.
No,
but she thought of it.
Yes,
you could technically.
No, she was like, yeah, and she was like, no, I wouldn't do it, but it's just something I thought about because I work there. And everybody was just like,
Wait, so she just outed herself?
She outed herself. That was the first time I had ever seen that shit, like in real life.
Much detail.
Yeah, because we were like, because it was like, oh yeah, this happens. She was like, in layaway, people can do this, and then the story got longer and longer, and people were like, it sounds like this bitch did this.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't possibly know that much about the process, especially if it had never happened.
Yeah, and then it was just like, when she got to the end, it was like, and
if y'all ain't gonna fire her, I'm gonna. Like, that's this seems pretty incriminating.
Yeah, everybody was like, that was a lot. I'm like 16, 17. I'm like, I think this bitch is stealing. It was very, very elaborate. It included like making fake tickets and receipts and all this shit, man. It was
stuff that she wouldn't even be able to do.
Right. It's like no customer would come up with that.
So yeah, that's insane. When they ask the question, does anybody know how you could steal from this place? And she's like, yeah, I'll tell you how.
Yeah, and she laid out a fucking elaborate. I mean, it was like some Ocean's 11.
Fucking idiot. But so like so smart that she came up with this scheme that nobody knew
Right.
about.
And
That's so
and I think that's what it was, because like at first it was like, oh, and then you can tell she started to like, yeah, like realize like people were like intrigued by her story, and she saw that people were like, damn, this is pretty deep. I think she started to like feel herself like, I'm pretty smart. I thought of this. Not realizing like, hey, you're telling people you thought of this.
She was just so proud.
She was so proud of herself. She started to kind of take ownership of the story. But
Been applauded for anything
yeah,
I've ever done.
exactly. And she started to like, and then this and this and this, and it was just like, and Mrs. Hooper was like, oh, okay.
Did they ever find anything?
I don't know, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Sometimes with the criminal, it's like somebody that's been committing crimes for a long time, or even a murderer or something. They're like, I want to be recognized.
Right.
At a certain
Well, they want to get caught.
the media.
Yeah. They go back to the scene of the crime. Dude, she laid it out. It was just like, wow. Yeah. But that's all I got.
Fuck yeah, dude. Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, dude, this has been fun,
So
man.
good to see you. I'm looking forward to being able to watch you a little bit this weekend. And,
Thanks, man.
Have some fun. Just telling some jokes, talking comedy together.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, plug your stuff. Let people know where they can find you.
Check me out at Chris Allen Comedy on all things social media. I'm a podcast at Negro Please Radio. It's on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can find podcasts. You can watch it on YouTube as well.
Oh, yeah.